From New York, and another live shot of Fifth Avenue. Kevin McCullough, glad you're with us at AFA Today. We're just about 3 hours to my south, right down the eastern seaboard here. We have a scandal of epic proportion unfolding for us. The president, according to our people on the ground, Sandy Rios being one of them, saying that the president is sending in mounted police and other heavy equipment to try to keep World War II veterans, and this is for the second day, try to keep them from accessing what is largely an unguarded and unwatched memorial anyway. It's like the Lincoln Memorial. You can go up to it any time of day. I mean, you may not supposed to be. It may technically be closed after 10 p.m. or whatever, but there's no one standing guard. There's no fence. There's no one saying, hey, you can't go up there right now. People come and go. They read the words on the wall. They look at the sculpture of Lincoln, and they go home. They do the same thing with the World War II memorial. And this honor flight is taking World War II vets from all over the country and bringing them to Washington, D.C. And this is the time of year in which they are doing this. And these World War II vets that we're losing at an incredible rate per day. I mean, there's very few of them even left, and they are being told you may not visit the memorial that was built in their honor for their service to this country. They shed their blood on French and German soil so that we could be liberated. They died in little islands and got hurt in little islands all through the South Pacific that we'll never even know the name of. And some of their friends never even came home. And this is the response that the White House is specifically initiating. There isn't any confusion about, oh, well, maybe it's the Republicans that are telling the barricade people to go down there. No, this is the White House initiating this. Knowing that these World War II veterans want to see the memorial, they are specifically denying them access to it, and they're claiming, well, it's part of the cost of the shutdown. Except that normally, I don't know how much cost goes into keeping the World War II monument open, other than a little bit of electricity to keep the lights that are in the ground that shoot up at night lit. This is dirty Chicago politics is what this is. This is, you didn't vote for my guy for ward boss, I'm going to break your kneecaps. That's what this is. And I find it repulsive. And I would find it repulsive no matter which party was doing it. It just so happens that it happens to be the president's party. But to dishonor the World War II veterans in this way, to me, is just beyond the pale. What are your thoughts? 888-589-8840. Let's talk to David in Mississippi. Hi, David. Welcome. You're on AFA Today with Kevin McCullough.
Yes. As to your question as to why the White House, or more specifically Obama, would close the World War II memorial, like you, I can't even comprehend him doing that. But the reason I feel that he's doing this is he's realizing that it's not a big, dire consequence of being the shutdown as he predicted 2 days ago. So instead of being a government shutdown, it's more like a slowdown or a partial shutdown. So what he's hoping to, like I heard on the liberal media this morning, they're saying that they charge the gates, and they're making it sound like it's a very bad thing that the World War II people did. Even though I heard yesterday it was on Brian Fisher, I believe he interviewed Stephen Palazzo, and he's the one that actually, one of the two representatives that were there. They actually let them in, so they didn't actually storm it. But anyhow, the liberal side is showing, taking Obama's side of it, it's like these people are, doing a very bad thing. So he's hoping if he can keep the veterans out, that the liberal media will keep taking his side, and more people would look at this as being, oh, this is all Republicans' fault, not because of Obama won't compromise. And he's saying the Republicans are holding him ransom, and he won't want to leave out the Obamacare that everybody wants out of there. So he's just hoping the liberal media and those will see, or hope that they see, that it's all Republicans' fault instead of Obama's doing.
Well, and what's interesting about that, and I agree with you, and thank you for the call, David. I do agree with you that they probably are waging some sort of bet on what they think is going to be the ultimate response here. But here's the problem with that: you really going to go to the press and really try to make the case that World War II veterans were storming the memorial. Occupy D.C. stormed things. Young people in their 20s and 30s, when they got mad, they stormed things. I saw footage of the storming of the memorial yesterday. Up to a third, maybe a half of the veterans that are there, they're wheeling in wheelchairs. See, I don't know that it's so much that he knows that the media can help him here. I think it's a grand wager that the World War II veterans are too weak to be able to make their case to him. I think his bet is these are just a bunch of old people that I don't have to care about. And when you consider, what the film 2016 and some other documentaries of Obama's life have said about his view of American strength in past world wars, there may be even more philosophical roots at all of this than even what most conspiracy people come up with. I'm not saying that these aren't great men of valor and great men and women of courage and integrity. They are, but they are old, and there's a weakness to their body that he wouldn't try it if they were all in their 30s and 40s. Because then you would have some storming going on. But to try to make the case to the American media that these World War II veterans are wild, out of control beasts that just overran all of the law-abiding security that was there. What a pathetic attempt to blame people and to again avoid responsibility for your own ineptness. Okay, you let the situation get to the point where you allowed the shutdown to take place, and okay, you're going to blame the other side. I understand that, but now you're really going to point a finger at people, many of whom may have voted for you, at least in your first election. I mean, Obama carried a significant number of elderly people. 888-589-8840. Let's talk to Sandra, also in Mississippi. Hi, Sandra. Welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough on AFA Today.
Thank you. And I just want to say that I appreciate you being on air and telling the truth to everyone across the nation. My father was a World War II veteran, and I'm just thankful that he is not alive to see this happen in our country. I really feel that this president is showing his true colors and his character even more so by doing something this despicable. And all we can do is pray. I know that, things will change, but I do wish that the congressman could step in and do something to change this, because, as you said, these men are of honor, and they should be able to go to this memorial that was made for them, because they probably would not be able to make another trip.
Yeah, and that's the whole point in my book. Look, you can have all of the temperamental political arguments you want to have, and go for it. That's what politics is. I guess that's what people expect. But don't make some of these people who may have spent their last few dimes of recreational money that they have to spend to even get to Washington, D.C., in the health that they're in, at the stage of life that they're in, maybe a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for them. Don't rob them of this. Exactly. That's just criminal in my mind.
To me, it just shows that he does not care about America or its people, and he has his own agenda. And I know that we're going to see more and more things of this nature come about, in my opinion. He is just not at all a president. He is just a despicable person in my book, and all I can do is pray for him that he will change.
Well, we have to pray for him. That's important, but it sure makes it hard on days like today when you see him dissing, because these people are not just faceless people, friends. They are grandfathers and fathers and uncles that served admirably and served under hardship and served under terrible political, horrific monsters that were ruling parts of the world at the time. and they stared down great evil, and they told it to go away, and it did. I mean, if it weren't for these guys, we'd be speaking German and Japanese today. I mean, the truth is these people stopped a flood of tyranny, unlike anything that had ever been seen in world history prior to that. 888-589-8840. Let's talk to Don in Arkansas. Don, welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough on AFA Today. Hi.
Yes, thank you for taking my call. And are you hearing me?
I am, and thank you for being here, Don.
Okay, thank you. I wonder about the World War II veterans being denied access to the monument, and also the other thing where the funeral for Navy SEAL Team 6 was handled by an imam who pronounced eternal judgment on the deceased. I mean, that was another slap in the face. And I wonder, and I heard this from Herman Cain himself in a live meeting, talking about that governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government. I wonder if our president, in taking the advice of his former chief of staff, that not only is he not allowing a crisis to go to waste, but I wonder if he's trying to manufacture one so the Homeland Security can do something with the 1.6 billion rounds of hollow point ammunition that is forbidden by the Geneva Convention. I wonder.
Well, Don, there's a lot of things, and here's the problem. Thank you for your call. If we got to this point in history, and there had never been any track record of this president handling groups that disagreed with him in a disfavorable way, if he had a completely fair track record of saying, for instance, 501c3s that met all the qualifications, getting 501c3 status by the IRS, if he had a track record of being consistent in allowing rights to go to people that he merely disagreed with, then you could say, Kev, you're being a little bit conspiratorial today. My problem is that since about February of this year, throughout most of the spring, there was a new layer to something that we were discovering almost every day that was not the way it had been presented. And we discovered that legitimate groups, Family Talk with Dr. James Dobson, being denied nonprofit status when they live and operate and abide by all the nonprofit rules and had for 3 years, when the law says they're supposed to have a final determination within 9 months. See, it's this kind of silliness, and that's being charitable, that causes really good people of really good intention to have really strong doubts about the validity and the truth that the White House is telling people. See, I think you can be honorable to a government, and I think that a government can be honorable to its people, even the people that it disagrees with, but you have to be honest. Since there's such a deep pattern of provable dishonesty stemming from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, I don't think he gets the benefit of the doubt when something like this comes up. Rand Paul said at a press conference yesterday, he said people had to spend hours setting up barricades where there are never barricades to prevent people from seeing the World War II monument because they're playing a charade. That's part of the problem. They went out to put barricades up. It was never designed to be barricaded off from anything. It was never designed to be preventing the American people from walking through and looking at it. There was never an intention to close the World War II monument because there's no taxing of its resources on the American government and thereby the American people for people to walk through and take a look at it. That's why it was built out of the materials that it was built out of. That's why it's, most of it is solid stone. It's an impressive memorial. By far my favorite memorial in Washington, D.C. And you're going to rob the people that fought for the freedoms of your snarky little backside in office just because you're trying to win a chess match with your political opponents? I don't comprehend that. That's not even good strategy. If you're trying to win over the American people, that's actually a really dumb thing to do. 888-589-8840. Let's go to Crystal in Louisiana. Hi, Crystal. Welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough.
Hey, Kevin. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I want to point out something that this is just really scary to me. You said mounted patrol, correct? Mounted police officers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Think about any big, event you've ever been to. I'm from Louisiana, so, I've been in New Orleans several times. Mounted police officers, they are trained for crowd control. Those horses are trained to run over people if they become unruly. He did not send park rangers or security guards. He's sending mounted police officers to take care of, first of all, our veterans. I don't care what age they are. Second of all, 70 and 80-year-old men who just want to go see the memorial. I mean, so this should scare the heck out of everybody when our government puts aggressive force against our veterans.
Well said, Crystal. Well said. Thank you for your call. We're short on time. This is AFA Today. I'm Kevin McCullough. Coming right back on AFR Talk.